San Francisco, how good are they? How tough are they? 13 wins in a row. The kid quarterback, the last guy taken in the draft, Brock Purdy, is now 7-0 as a starting quarterback. They're a little bit banged up. It's going to be interesting to see what the true storyline is during this course of the week, who practices and how dinged up they are, because Christian McCaffrey's got a calf issue. And I think he's going to be out for a chunk of the week in terms of practice. But it's not a torn calf. It's not a strained calf. It's a bruised calf. So I think he can come back from that. But Brock Purdy, another picture-perfect postcard performance. 214 passing, a touchdown, no turnovers. Brock Purdy's driver's license now says 17 touchdowns, 4 interceptions since I became starting quarterback of the San Francisco 49ers. I guess the other word I can use is destructive, because that's what happened to Dallas. They could not hold up to everything San Francisco did defensively, and those linebackers were everywhere on the field for San Francisco. Dak Prescott, 2 more pass interceptions. Complicated. Their offense took a hit when they lost Tony Pollard with a broken leg, because he made a lot of plays coming out of the backfield as a running back and as a wide receiver. But Mike McCarthy's play calls were really weird when the game was still reachable for him, with 2 minutes and 12 seconds to go, to punt on a 4th down when they just needed possessions and get down the field. Mm-hmm. And then for him to come up with a screwball formation on the 4th down final play of the game and take the ball really out of the hands of his quarterback, and then throw a short pass and think you're going to be able to run laterals the rest of the way. I didn't see the Stanford band anywhere on the sidelines. So I just have questions about McCarthy's play calling and clock management. This is a veteran coach. You would think things are better. But that being said, San Francisco, I mean, Dallas ran into a buzzsaw, and I just don't know that anybody at this point in time can derail San Francisco, because they have just really come together as a team since the McCaffrey trade, and they've just gotten better and better and better with all the skilled people around the kid quarterback. To me, it's a phenomenal storyline.
Yeah, it's incredible how well they are doing. And even that game, as it was rolling through, it was a very, defensive dominated game for both teams. Not a whole lot of scoring. But, Brock Purdy just kind of stayed steady Eddie, didn't make any mistakes. And at some point it was going to break through. And it was that George Kittle catch that was off his fingertips 3 or 4 times.
3 times, Bob.
Yeah. And he finally got that. And the Niners drove, and McCaffrey scores that big touchdown. So, good on them. But yeah, as far as the Cowboys go, that final play has been making the rounds on social media. It's kind of comedy. But even going back to the kicker missed his first field or extra point.
It was tipped.
Oh, it was tipped.
That's what they're saying now.
But it was way offline. The way he kicked it, it probably wouldn't have been, if it hadn't been touched, it still would have missed. But he turned the corner. I think Jerry Jones talked to him before the game started.
Yeah, well, he did come back and hit 2 field goals along the way that they needed. Interesting stat, is America's team, the Dallas Cowboys, they are 0-7 now in divisional play dating back to 1995. And this is from the most benevolent owner in the league that pays all of us stars. They draft well. They made deals. They get free agents in there. 0-7. And they're 4-11, I think, is the number I came up with in the last 22 years in postseason play. They have not won a Super Bowl since, how about them Cowboys, Jimmy Johnson?
Yeah, right.
It's been a long time. But at this point in time, I think they're disappointed. They wasted a really, really good defense that they built. Mm-hmm. And I don't know what's going on with Dak. 17 interceptions now combined for the season. Just doesn't look like the same quarterback or same decision-making, or maybe he's late getting the ball there. Or maybe he doesn't have Michael Irvin and superstar wide receivers. Maybe that's a piece of the equation, although C.D. Lamb did have 10 pass receptions in the game, but they got nothing from their tight ends, and they got nothing from the other wide receiver on the other side, Michael Gallup. So they may have to do some evaluation of player personnel. And I think nobody's talked about it extensively. Their offensive line was a mess. They never got their left tackle, Tyron Smith, back. They went through 3 different left tackles, and they signed Jason Peters of the Eagles, and he hurt his hip. He's 41 years old and looks like he's done. They had problems at guard. They had problems at center. A lot of guys coming in and out of that offensive line. But Dak making the mistakes Dak's making is kind of surprising to me.
Yeah, it is. But we've talked about how the Cowboys often choke, and this was another example of it. And their defense played terrific in that game. So it does come down on that offense. They didn't have maybe the right guys, maybe the right plays. They're going to have to really reevaluate. But how about that injury to Pollard? It was very similar to the one that happened to Mahomes. And Pollard, I think, broke his leg.
Broken fibula.
Yeah. I mean, so incredible that Mahomes survived his injury. But the Jerry Jones is going to do some soul searching.